Greetings, friends. I'm pleased to submit my portfolio for promotion to the rank of full professor. I've been teaching at Union now for more than 23 years, having been the first full-time faculty person hired for the Charlotte campus in 2002. Over the years, Union Presbyterian Seminary has become special to me, and I hope my contributions to the life of this institution will more than merit this request. I count on God's grace at the point where merit ends. In my time here, serving as a member of the Bible department, I'm the only faculty person in the last half-century to have taught all 8 of the core required Bible courses. In fact, when I first joined the faculty, my first several years were spent in an endless cycle of 2 semesters of language followed by 2 semesters of introductory biblical interpretation. Then repeat. I often refer to my first 7 years as this institution's giving me my second PhD in learning how to teach the Union way. It took me a while to unlearn some of what I absorbed so that I felt freedom to eventually emphasize matters of justice and racial parity in my teaching. Over my years at Union, I've authored and edited several significant projects like Can a Cushite Change His Skin? That asserts that race does not exist as a concept in the Hebrew Bible. The Genesis of Liberation, co-authored with Emerson Powery, that explored the distinctive ways that African Americans, formerly enslaved literati, read scripture and pondered freedom, and the Africana Bible, a groundbreaking first of its kind commentary authored by diasporan Africans on which I served as an associate editor. I've served for the Society of Biblical Literature as the co-chair of the African American Biblical Hermeneutics section for 8 years, and as the co-chair of the Committee for Underrepresented Minorities in the Profession for 3 years. Much of the work I did with the African American Biblical Hermeneutics section included developing sessions targeted at nurturing young African American biblical scholars by fostering safe space for them to present their initial professional papers at the Guild. I've tried to be faithful to my vocation as an ordained minister. I've served twice as an interim pastor, once for a 3,000-member African-American congregation in the American Baptist tradition, and another time for a small, predominantly white congregation of the Cooperative Baptist Fellowship. In addition, I've been regularly a pulpit supply at places like First United Presbyterian Church, Statesville Avenue Presbyterian Church, South End Presbyterian Church, and several other congregations which were without regular pastoral leadership. During my time at Union, there have been years when I was either preaching or teaching on every Sunday or teaching on a Wednesday night in churches throughout North and South Carolina. In addition, I've tried to be faithful to my service to God in the community. This has led me to wholeheartedly engage in the work of being a public theologian and biblical scholar. Over my time in Charlotte, I've spoken numerous times before City Council, addressing everything from LGBTQIA+ rights, to the need to adopt a 100% renewable energy bill, to the need to reform our policing policies, and on a host of other issues like organizing city workers to fight for adequate pay and organizing with city and airport workers when they fought for living wages and additional benefits. My primary community service, however, has come with the moral movement, beginning with my first arrest in Raleigh at the General Assembly building on May 6, 2013. In the aftermath of that experience, I wrote a letter that was shared with hundreds of North Carolinian clergy, encouraging them to join with Reverend Dr. William Barber to fight the regressive extremism in the state General Assembly. Working with former trustee member Reverend Jimmy Hawkins, we even led distinctive clergy advocacy days with Moral Monday, bringing hundreds of local clergy out to bear witness. In addition, I work with organizing local clergy to have engagement sessions with members of the General Assembly to help identify God's will for justice as it should be exacted in our public policies. Over my years of working in the seminary, in addition to my work on faculty committees, I've served on at least 3 terms as a faculty representative to the Board of Trustees. I've served on several search committees over the years, helping to recruit colleagues in Old Testament practical theology and to serve on committee that eventually brought my New Testament colleague to Charlotte. I served as chair of that committee. I also served on the most recent presidential search committee, as well as twice on the strategic planning committee, helping to frame the priorities of our institution. I know that my trajectory as a faculty member at Union has been unique and distinct. I hope that I've served in some ways that have helped our institution and its leaders to reimagine what it means to be a seminary professor. I consider the world to be my classroom, and all of those with whom I encounter to be my students, seeking to discern the will of God in both sacred and secular spaces. No, perhaps I should reframe that and say that I hope that I've shown the existence of all spaces as sacred spaces, even those we might expect to be deemed secular. I pray that you enjoy reading over my portfolio. I've tried to keep some things short because I know I've been here for a long time and limited the amount of material I presented in different sections. But I hope it also provides an adequate amount of material for you to review. You'll notice also that much of what I've done to keep things short is provide videos. And I hope that the videos will be useful and entertaining and hopefully give a good understanding of the way that my scholarship lives in the public square. Thank you all so much for your time, your attention to this work, and may God bless you always.